I saw her again on a Wednesday. Same corner table. Same chipped mug with the faint lipstick mark that wasn't quite washed off. The kind of detail you only notice when you start looking for someone, even when you tell yourself you aren't. The cafe wasn't busy. Never was after 2 p.m. Just the quiet hum of the espresso machine and a few laptop people pretending to work. I came there out of habit now, I think. At least, that's what I told myself. She looked up when I ordered, a small pause before she smiled. Flat white? She asked, like she already knew. I nodded. You remembered. She shrugged, wiping her hands on a towel. You come here enough times, I'd be worried if I didn't. Her voice wasn't flirty, it was steady, warm. Still, something about the way she said it made the space between us feel smaller. She was older, maybe mid-40s, with a calm kind of beauty. Not the kind that made you stare, but the kind that stayed in your head long after you left. I found a seat by the window. She brought my coffee herself, even though one of the younger baristas could have done it. When she set it down, her fingers brushed the table a little too close to mine, just enough to notice. Thanks, I said. She gave a small nod, then turned back toward the counter, tying her apron a little tighter like she needed something to do with her hands. That was her, always keeping busy. I'd been coming here for months, and she never just stood still. Cleaning, pouring, rearranging. Like stillness might let something catch up to her. I watched the steam rise from the cup. I didn't have anyone waiting for me that day, or any day, really. My phone was face down, silent. The last text in my chat list said, "Hey, you good?" And I never answered. It was from someone I didn't want to explain this kind of quiet to. She came by once more to clear a table near mine. The soft clink of cups filled the space between us. You always sit by the window, she said. I like the light. It's harsh this time of day. I know. She smiled a little, but didn't say more. I caught her eyes for a second longer than I should have. She looked away first. When she walked past me later, she stopped for half a breath. Close enough that I could smell the faint trace of her perfume. Something clean, like soap and cedar. She didn't say anything, but she reached out and fixed the sugar packet I'd torn unevenly, folding it neatly before walking off again. I couldn't stop thinking about that. How she folded it, not me. How she cared about something so small. At closing, I lingered, pretended to type, finish an email that didn't exist. She came over, pulling her coat on. You don't have to leave, she said quietly. I just need to lock up. There was a pause. Her hand was still on the key. I don't remember who moved first, her or me, but the distance between us disappeared in a blink. She kissed me. Soft, brief, like she was testing a thought. Then she stepped back. The sound of the key turning in the lock filled the silence. See you tomorrow, she said, like nothing had happened. And then she was gone, leaving the faint scent of cedar and something I couldn't name behind her. I sat there for a long time after, staring at the folded sugar packet on the table, trying to decide if she'd meant for me to. I told myself I wouldn't go back the next day. But Thursday came, and there I was, same table, same corner, same quiet pulse beneath my ribs. She was already there, refilling the pastry case. When she saw me, her expression didn't shift. Not exactly. Just a flicker, like she'd expected me and was pretending she hadn't. Afternoon, she said, voice even. Flat white. Please. She nodded and turned away. Her hair was tied up today loosely. A few strands had fallen free near her neck. I stared too long before I caught myself. When she brought the cup over, she set it down carefully. No brush of fingers this time. No pause. Like she'd built a new set of rules overnight and planned to stick to them. I tried to follow her lead. How's your son? I asked. I'd heard her mention him once, university in another city. Her hand stilled on the tray. He's good, she said. Then quieter, busy, calls when he remembers. There was a smile after that, but it didn't reach her eyes. She leaned on the chair across from me, just for a second. You? Still pretending to figure life out. That's the job in your 20s. Yeah, but you make it look easier. That made her laugh, short, real, unguarded. She covered her mouth like she wished she hadn't. Silence slipped in after that, soft and heavy. She looked down at her hands, tracing the edge of the napkin. I noticed the faint line where her wedding ring must have been once. She didn't wear it now. You ever think about that? I asked before I could stop myself. How some things just end quietly. Her eyes met mine. More often than I should. Neither of us spoke for a while. She went back behind the counter, but I could feel the air between us still trembling. An hour passed. Customers came and went. I stayed, pretending to read something on my phone. When the last person left, she walked over and sat across from me. No apron this time. Just her. You shouldn't look at me like that, she said softly. Like what? Like you're waiting for me to do it again. My throat felt dry. Are you? She looked out the window, watching the reflection of passing cars. I made a mistake. Felt real. I said before I could help it. Her eyes flicked back to mine, sharp, then soft. That's the problem. The clock above us ticked too loud. She stood, smoothing her sweater, as if ending the conversation would erase the meaning underneath it. But before she turned, she reached out and fixed my collar, a tiny, careful gesture. Her fingers brushed my neck, barely. Don't stay too late, she murmured. She walked away, her steps steady, her shoulders tight. And I just sat there, pretending not to watch her leave. I don't know why that moment stayed with me. Maybe because it felt like someone finally saw me. Friday felt different. The air, the light, even the way the bell above the cafe doors sounded when I walked in. Everything carried a strange tension, like the space already knew something was about to shift. She wasn't at the counter. One of the younger baristas, a girl with red nails and a too bright smile, took my order. Flat white, she said. She said you'd want that. I glanced toward the back room. The door was half closed, faint music leaking through. I caught the shape of her silhouette, head bent, shoulders tight. I sat at my usual table, waiting, not sure for what. When she came out, she froze for a fraction too long when she saw me. Then she exhaled, like she'd been holding her breath all morning. You're early today, she said. Couldn't sleep. Her eyes softened. Then she looked away, busying herself with cups that didn't need rearranging. The cafe filled up quickly, students, a couple on laptops, a man with a newspaper. Every few minutes, she glanced my way, then pretended not to. It became its own rhythm, like the ticking clock, like breath. Around noon, the red-nailed barista leaned over the counter, whispering something to her. They both looked at me. I caught only fragments. He's cute, younger, and her quiet, tight reply. He's just a regular. She avoided me after that. No small talk, no smile. Just the sound of the espresso machine and the faint scrape of ceramic cups. When I got up to leave, she finally came over. You forgot this, she said, holding my phone. I hadn't. Our fingers brushed as she passed it to me. She didn't let go right away. Can we talk? I asked. She looked around. The cafe was half empty now. Not here. So I waited outside. Cold air, faint drizzle, the kind that soaks without falling. She came out after closing, pulling her coat tight. You shouldn't wait for me, she said. I wasn't. She gave a small smile. You're a terrible liar. We walked side by side down the quiet street. No plan, no direction. Streetlights hummed. Our steps fell into the same rhythm. She spoke first. You remind me of someone. When I was younger, I didn't ask who. I used to think love was supposed to happen once, she said. And when it's over, that's it. But lately, she trailed off, shaking her head. Never mind. I stopped walking. She stopped too. The space between us felt like a breath being held. You can say it, I said. I can't. I don't know who moved first. Me maybe. Or her. The distance closed, and for a second, our faces were close enough for her breath to warm the air between us. Then headlights flashed as a car turned the corner. She stepped back, eyes wide. I have to go, she said. Her hand brushed my sleeve before she pulled away, just enough to leave the shape of her touch behind. And then she was gone again, leaving the sentence unfinished. She started avoiding me after that night. Not obviously. She was polite, still smiled, still remembered how I liked my coffee, but there was a new distance in it. A practiced ease, like she'd found the right temperature to keep me at. Not cold, not warm. Just enough to keep things contained. Days passed like that. Weeks, maybe. I stopped counting. I still came to the cafe, though I told myself I was there for the quiet, for the light, for the smell of ground beans. Lies have a way of sounding truer when you say them softly. One evening, I caught her leaving. No apron this time. Just her, hair loose, coat half-buttoned. I offered to walk her home. She hesitated, then nodded once. The street was quiet. Lamps flickered, and a thin layer of mist blurred everything that wasn't close. She walked with her hands tucked into her pockets. I matched her pace. "You've been distant," I said finally. "I've been busy." "You're always busy." She exhaled a small laugh, more breath than sound. "It keeps things simple." There was that pause again, the one where truth usually tries to surface. I said, "You're afraid of what this looks like." Her head turned slightly. "What does it look like?" "Like something neither of us meant to happen." She stopped walking. "You think I don't know that?" Her voice wasn't raised. It didn't need to be. The quiet carried it sharper. "I'm twice your age," she said, finally looking at me. "I have a son your age. People talk. People assume. And they're not wrong to." Her eyes glistened, though she didn't cry. She just looked tired. "I don't care what people think," I said. "I do." That landed heavy between us. We found a bench under a street lamp. She sat first. I joined her. For a long time, neither of us spoke. The hum of traffic from far away, a dog barking somewhere, that was all. Finally, she said, "You remind me of who I was before everything got complicated." "That's not fair," I said quietly. "I know." She looked down at her hands, nervous, twisting her ringless finger like something should still be there. "I didn't mean to kiss you that night," she said. "It just happened." You looked at me like I wasn't invisible. I hadn't felt that in a long time. Her voice broke a little on the last word. I wanted to reach for her hand, but I didn't. The distance between us was small, but it felt like crossing an ocean. She looked at me then, really looked. "You're good," she whispered. "Too good. Don't let me ruin that." "I don't think you could." Her mouth trembled. Not quite a smile, not quite sorrow. Then she said, "You don't know me." I said, "I want to." She turned away, eyes glistening under the streetlight. For a second, she almost reached for me. Almost. Then she asked, softly, "Would it even mean the same thing to you as it does to me?" And I didn't have an answer. She stopped coming to the cafe. No warning. No goodbye. One day she was there, folding napkins, humming faintly under her breath. And the next, the younger barista said she'd taken some time off. "Family stuff," she added, eyes flicking toward me like she knew more, but didn't want to say it. For a week, I kept showing up. Same corner, same coffee. The chair across from me stayed empty, her absence taking up more space than her presence ever did. By Thursday, even the barista had stopped asking if I wanted the usual. I told myself to let it go. People disappear all the time, quietly, politely, as if excusing themselves from a conversation no one noticed had ended. Still, I found myself walking past her street one evening. Just walking. No plan. The porch light was on. A shadow moved behind the curtain. I didn't knock. The next day, I got a message. Unknown number. Don't wait for me there anymore. No greeting. No signature. But I knew. I didn't reply. Days turned into a rhythm of almosts. Almost calling. Almost walking in. Almost saying something. Instead, I buried it under small distractions. Work. Music. Noise. But everything felt thinner without her orbiting somewhere in it. Then one morning, I ran into her at the grocery store. Not cinematic. Just fluorescent light and the hum of freezers. She was standing in the fruit aisle, staring at oranges like she'd forgotten why she came. "Hey," I said. She turned slowly, surprised. "You look tired," she said. "You disappeared." Her lips parted, but no words came. She looked down at her basket, bread, tea, and a small pack of sugar. The same kind she used at the cafe. "My son came home," she said finally. "For a while." "Good," I said, even though it didn't feel that way. He asked about you. That made me blink. Me? She nodded. He remembered you from years ago. You used to come by after school, remember? He said you were the one who made him take up guitar. Her voice cracked just slightly at that last part. She set the basket down and rubbed her temples. It's not fair to him. Or to you. I wanted to say something. Anything. But my throat tightened around all the things I'd never said. She reached for an orange. Dropped it. We both bent down at the same time, hands brushing. She froze, then stood quickly, the distance restored. I have to go, she whispered. Please don't make this harder. I watched her walk away, her steps hurried but her shoulders trembling. The basket sat forgotten near the oranges, one rolling across the floor, thudding softly. I didn't pick it up. Back home, I opened my phone, typed I miss you, then deleted it. I didn't feel heartbroken. I felt paused, like life forgot to finish the sentence. It had been 3 months, long enough for the silence to settle into something ordinary. I still passed the cafe sometimes, out of habit more than hope. It had new curtains now, a brighter sign. The younger barista ran it alone. When I asked, she said the owner sold the place, moved somewhere quieter. That night, I walked home slower than usual. The streets were damp from rain, air thick with that smell before winter. Halfway home, I saw her, sitting on a bench by the park, hair tucked into her coat, a paper cup warming her hands. I almost kept walking. Almost. She noticed me before I decided. Her eyes softened, and she gave that small, knowing smile that once undid me. You look older, she said. So do you. I'm supposed to. I sat beside her. The silence wasn't as sharp this time. Just full. Familiar. You left without saying goodbye, I said. I didn't think you'd let me. You're probably right. She laughed under her breath, the sound fragile but real. I sold the cafe, she said. It was time. Too many ghosts in that place. I nodded. You could have told me. She looked down, twisting the lid of her cup. You were never supposed to stay in that story. You just wandered in when I wasn't ready. And now? She hesitated. Now I'm still not sure. The wind pushed her hair across her face. I wanted to reach out, to fix it like she once fixed my collar, but my hand stayed still. She said, You think I was cruel. But I wasn't. I was scared. Of me. No. Of feeling alive again. Something in me cracked at that. Quietly, the way would splits under weight. We sat there, both looking straight ahead, pretending to watch the trees sway in the dark. I used to imagine you walking in one day, she said. Sitting down. Saying nothing. Just letting it be what it was. This? I asked. This, she said softly. Right here. The streetlight flickered above us, gold and soft. Her eyes glimmered with it. Calm now, not afraid. I didn't mean to make things harder, I said. I know. She set her cup down and reached for my sleeve, brushing off a bit of rain. You're kind, she murmured. That's why I couldn't stay. Neither of us moved for a long time. Just the sound of rain finding its rhythm again, drops tapping against metal. Then she turned to me and said, Do you ever wish we'd met at a different time? Sometimes. Her hand rested briefly on mine. Light. Deliberate. Enough to ground the moment. Then maybe, she said, we'd still be sitting here anyway. I nodded, smiling faintly. Maybe. She smiled back. A quiet, tired smile. The kind that meant both thank you and goodbye. And when she stood to leave, neither of us said another word. Just a soft, shared okay. A year passed before I saw her again. Not in the cafe. It doesn't exist anymore. The space is now a stationery shop, bright and neat, smelling of paper and new beginnings. But sometimes when I walk by, I still glance inside, half expecting to see her behind the counter, folding napkins that no longer belong to us. It was spring when she reappeared. I was at the park, the same one, the same bench. 8:47 a.m. I remember because I'd just checked the time before deciding to leave. Then I saw her crossing the path, holding a paper bag and 2 cups of coffee. She looked different, lighter somehow. The quiet around her didn't feel like a wall anymore. It felt like a choice. I thought you moved, I said. I did, she replied. but I still come here on weekends. Old habits. She handed me one of the cups. I noticed it wasn't a flat white this time. Black, she said. You stopped adding sugar, didn't you? I smiled. You remembered. I always remember the small things, she said softly. We sat in silence for a while, watching morning joggers pass by, the world opening up around us. The bench creaked the same way it always had. She leaned back, eyes half closed, like the quiet finally fit her again. How's your son? I asked. Good, she said. He got engaged. She's lovely. That's good. She nodded, smiling faintly. He asked about you once. Said he still owes you a song. That made us both laugh, quietly. The kind of laughter that comes from something shared, not something told. After a while, she said, You know, I thought about writing you. I even had the message typed up once. What did it say? She shrugged. Something boring. Something like hope you're well. But it didn't sound right. You deserved more than polite words. I looked down at my coffee. Steam curled between us, soft and invisible. You didn't need to say anything, I said. You just had to show up. She looked at me then, really looked. The way she used to before all the rules, all the pauses. Her hand brushed mine, steady now, no hesitation. And for once, we didn't pull away. No declarations. No grand promises. Just the sound of birds overhead, the soft rustle of leaves, and two people finally quiet enough to belong to the same moment. When she leaned her head on my shoulder, it didn't feel like the start of anything new. It felt like something that had been waiting patiently for the noise to end. We stayed there until the light shifted, warm and slow. She sipped her coffee, winced a little. Still too bitter, she said. I smiled. That's how I like it. She laughed, soft, familiar, real. And for the first time, I realized she wasn't pretending anymore. Just being. Just here. Did this story stay with you? Tell me below, what kind of quiet, real love stories do you want to hear next?